Hi, I'm Chuck Johnston. As you know, the whole idea of OIP, or Operations Improvement, is to find ways to increase the quality of what we do by eliminating the hassles that make the job tough to do right the very first time. Better quality and fewer hassles mean reduced operating expenses. In Travenol, operating expenses are the cost of doing business for those of us involved in activities other than manufacturing. Though we are involved in many different kinds of activities, we have one thing in common. We all deal in information. That is, each department receives information from its suppliers, adds value to it as a producer, and sends it on to its customers. If information is the basic business of most of us, then the keys to improving information processing are quality, conformance to requirements, effectiveness, doing the right things, and efficiency, doing the right things well. In coping with mountains of information, one can easily see the potential of eliminating unnecessary tasks and for electronic information processing, or, as it's more commonly called, office automation. After all, who needs the paperwork hassle? We would like to tell you about a very exciting tool to support your OIP efforts. Modern Office Systems Through Teamwork, or MOST, seems an especially promising process to improve quality and eliminate hassles.
Let's face it, our office costs are largely made up of people costs, so reducing operating expenses may lead to reducing people. But in a company like Travenol that is always changing and growing, that doesn't mean lots of terminations. Sound like double talk? Let's dream a little. Why can't people freed up from one department be retrained and reassigned to another department or another business to support growth areas? By understanding the requirements better and building the right skills to use the right tools, we can leverage our expenses, gain a competitive edge, help grow the company, and improve the quality of work life. And we can do this without lots of hassles. On paper, at least, this process seems like a win-win combination.
As POS project manager, my role is to guide the selection and implementation of quality office systems. The idea is to leverage department talent with hassle-saving technology. I know that big numbers tend to come back and haunt us, but we can't afford to ignore that. If we could, over time, avoid replacing, say, 1/10 of the people who voluntarily travel each year, we'd save something like $3 million in Northern Illinois alone, and that would be good for all of us.
The $64 question, of course, was how can we get from here to there? From past experience, I knew two cornerstones were essential. First, the technical know-how to implement new office tools. And second, the communication skills necessary to build a sustainable change management process. For the first, back in March 1985, we formed our new Professional and Office Systems Group as a unit of information services. For the second, we looked outside for a professional facilitator with extensive experience, and in Tom Rowan, we found a good one.
If Travenol ever had to rely on Tom for technical guidance in our office system strategy, we'd all be in big trouble, because that's not what he does. However, his experience in building quality communications is indeed central to our strategy, because we believe that people, not computers, determine office quality. Combining our respective skills, Tom and I laid out the MOST process, a fresh approach to increasing quality and reducing operating expense by eliminating information hassles. To test the MOST pilot, we recently completed a small study with one of our corporate office departments, and early results are very encouraging.
Historically, consultants are retained to develop answers. Conversely, as facilitator, I try to help spotlight the right questions because, in my experience, department people already have the answers. They just need help getting changes made. As most facilitator, my role is to coordinate teamwork, build the change process, and, as it achieves orbit, eventually work myself out of a job. Sometimes this involves helping with analysis, sometimes sharing what other companies have learned. But more often, it involves keeping efforts focused on the mission, maintaining clear communications, building shared perceptions, and coordinating interaction between busy departments. It also involves making sure everyone understands their role, has what they need to get the job done, and is generally feeling good. Does the feeling good part sound frivolous? Maybe a few years ago, but certainly not today. Times have changed. Please stop and think about it. Could you ever imagine seeing the word hassles in company literature before? Haven't we all come to understand that our behavior depends on our attitude and that satisfied people do quality work? In practice, this means the process of changing behavior depends more than anything else on changing, that is, improving, attitudes. By asking the right questions, being an objective listener, and helping track down practical relief from everyday hassles.
Because quick results build enthusiasm, most purposely focuses on early and immediate opportunities first, and longer-term opportunities second. This way, department people gain both the experience and the incentive to keep the quality improvement process going. In a nutshell, prompt relief through coordinated teamwork and, where it makes sense, new technology. That's what MOST's all about.
We find that behind every hassle lies opportunity, and we define hassles as anything that can be eliminated entirely, done faster, or done easier. I've been with Travenol a long time, but you don't need to be here very long to spot three major opportunities. First, we should focus on effective departmental level systems, not just on individual efficiency. Second, we must take the time to better understand, involve, and train our clients so new office systems can deliver as promised. And third, we must accelerate change implementation by eliminating red tape. It's no secret that getting things done here can seem like forever.
We're developing the MOST process to zero in on those specific quality improvement opportunities. In terms of its methodology, MOST is honestly not very different from other problem-solving processes. But in terms of its concentration on the interpersonal and cultural dynamics of change, and it's taking the front-end time to understand both the department's mission requirements and its people requirements, MOST has so far proved refreshingly different.
We made this movie to share a real-life example of how MOST teamwork made a difference, a satisfying difference, to improving quality in Travenol's corporate fleet department. Rather than walk through the MOST process, we thought you'd be more interested in what was accomplished rather than how. Let's meet Pat Sheehan, corporate fleet manager and past president of the National Association of Fleet Administrators.
We have 8 people in the corporate fleet department and currently serve more than 1,400 Travenol drivers across the country. In recent years, our paperwork systems have been increasingly strained by fleet growth. Early this year, they began to collapse under the double-barreled assault of surging home care fleet growth and especially the burdens of the Tax Reform Act of 1984. Every day demanded maximum effort. Overtime was heavy and stress levels shot sky high. To say the least, life got pretty hellish in the fleet department. It was like living in the Dickens era. We were coping Bob Cratchit style. Our major vendors did everything possible to help us keep costs down and remain effective. They took over many administrative tasks for us, usually at no charge. but it still wasn't enough. We just could not keep up with the paperwork blizzard. Talk about hassles, we had some beauties.
Determined to keep service up, costs down, and realizing something just had to give, Pat sought out the MOST team for help. He saw 3 basic areas where his people were wasting precious time. First, information lookups for busy drivers, salesmen usually, took much too long. Second, paperwork, mainly one-time forms, took too much time and too much space. And third, stress levels were running as high as morale was low.
By teaming up with Pat and his people, we were able to deliver relief from each hassle, and quickly. How? Mostly because we put the emphasis on the right syllables, that is, on the needs of Fleet's people.
That's right. Stress levels have come down, and morale is up. MOST helped us advance from manual to automated systems, designed a more functional office layout, and gave us a better distribution of our driver service workload. There's a financial benefit, too. We expect to reduce our operating expense by $30,000 a year on our one-time $14,000 investment. Not only that, we also avoided having to fill at least 1 open position. I'd say that's a pretty good return. I'd like you to meet my staff.
One of my responsibilities is collecting fares from the riders in the van pool program. And this has been a big hassle for everyone involved. Now we'll start collecting through payroll deduction, which will be less time-consuming and much more efficient.
Welcome to my new office. Well, the office isn't new, but the location is. Rearranging the work area was one big improvement the MOST process made. Our department used to look like this. As you can see, it was pretty cluttered and was never really laid out for our needs. And I sat way over there. Boy, was that a hassle. Now it looks like this. This makes it much easier to work together and much better for responding to our drivers in the field. And if anything can, the new PC should make budgeting a lot easier. Come on in. What really impressed me about MOST was its fast response to immediate needs. And boy, did we have needs. Through MOST, we got our new equipment approved right away and installed in just 4 weeks. For an encore, Mike Tucker's Human Resources Group completed Donna and Linda's job reevaluations in less than a month. Let's face it, things don't usually happen that fast around here.
After 4 years in Fleet, I won't go so far as to say I'll stay till retirement. But Mosher has made a difference. Our drivers are busy salespeople, often calling from payphones between important customer appointments. Playing telephone tag is as bothersome to me as to them, and it's just got to cost Travenol money. I think most work mainly because they took the time to really listen to us. In fact, Pamela and Tom actually lived with us for a while. By working with each of us to understand both our needs and our hassles, their suggestions were right on target. Another thing, while I've thought for some time that my job duties had grown, it was still nice to be formally recognized. With the changes we've made, my grade was raised a level.
My grade level didn't change, but my responsibilities will be more diversified now. Handling accident reporting for our entire fleet, I have to type the same header information 3 separate times on 3 separate forms. Now that's what I call a hassle. MOST encouraged us to transfer accident reporting to our outside claims agency. Now I'll be free to help Donna and Linda, have my own divisions, and provide a full range of one-stop services. Oh, one other thing. It used to be so hectic in here, we seldom left our desks for coffee breaks. Well, we're still plenty busy, but with the changes we've made, we can usually leave our desks now.
Goodbye. Have a good day. Hi. First, I've got to be honest and tell you I've always enjoyed working in Fleet, and I'm proud to be part of Travenol, especially now. But even I've got to admit it was getting crazy in here. To keep up with phone calls from my 600 drivers, I tried wearing this headset to keep my hands free. Still, it took so long to find them answers. I just could not keep up. But things are looking better. I've enjoyed the PC training very much and look forward to using my new skills.
As a POS analyst from the MOS team, I spent a lot of time with the fleet staff helping to determine their business needs. Some of those needs can be met by using the personal computer. Now that Fleet's up and running, I'm modifying one of the software packages they'll be using.
I'm looking forward to using the PC too. I figure if you can't beat them, you have to join them. Looking back, I suppose we could have eventually eliminated some hassles and accomplished some changes by ourselves. We tried, but somehow we just couldn't find enough time or muster enough support. Did most meet my expectations? I'll say. The process not only met my expectations, it exceeded them. For busy groups like ours, most seems like just what the doctor ordered.
One thing that Pat didn't tell you was that despite their share of hassles, Fleet maintained quality service throughout. In an independent survey conducted under MOS, our drivers rated Fleet service consistently high in all categories. And this, despite the fact the survey was first mailed along with how much you owe type IRS information, and second, it was sent out about 1 week late against a very aggressive deadline. Hardly the way to achieve a favorable response. I think you would agree. Neither did Pat mention the value of de-hassling our salesmen. Consider the leverage created by freeing up salespeople's time to increase their selling effort. Given the combined companies $5 to $6 billion of annual sales, even a very small increase in sales productivity means millions of dollars in increased revenue. I think Fleet's commitment to quality deserves special recognition. Pat's group is one of many office service departments where the nature of the work seems thankless. Feedback only comes when mistakes are made. Hassles seem the rule and thank yous the exception. From my vantage point, most demonstrates the kind of low-cost, high-impact results that we can achieve by teaming up against everyday hassles.
We're refining the MOS process to provide the same kind of hassle relief that exercise offers the body. Though both require commitment and hard work, both get easier with practice, and both result in measurable improvement.
Success stories at similar companies show that improving quality while reducing operating expense is entirely doable without hassling anyone. What it mostly takes is time.
At this early stage, we think that MOS shows real potential to help improve the quality process in our professional and office departments. And at this point, that's a reasonable start. See you back at the office, guys.
We'd all be in big trouble, huh? Nice guy. Tell you what, once around, last one back buys lunch.
Okay, Tom, I'll give it a shot. But instead of lunch, how about dinner?
You're on.